Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to check out using HP power supplies with a breakout board and replacing regular power supplies in your mining rig. Hopefully we'll save some energy, which means we'll save some money. Let's check it out. So if you're like I am, you're always looking at your mining equipment, trying to see how you can improve it, maybe find out if there's a different coin to mine, everything for the goal and purpose of trying to earn a little bit more money with your mining. But there's always one big looming factor, depending on where you live, of course, that's pretty ugly, and that's electricity or power. So in my research, I've seen people that are using these power supplies, which are Hewlett-Packard power supplies. Now, I happen to have this one laying around because we work on servers, and it's the same kind that we use for them. What I like about these power supplies is, number one, they're made by Hewlett-Packard, and they're made to run 24/7, whereas maybe a desktop power supply is not really intended to run 24/7. So I think this is going to be a better quality power supply. And then this particular one happens to be gold rated, and my guess is it's going to be a little bit better than most of the gold rated power supplies. And there's also some platinum ones. I don't have any of those at the moment. But basically, by wanting to use these power supplies, you're going to need to get some kind of device in between the power supply and its custom interface that HP makes that goes to the motherboard and your mining rig. So we've got these breakout boards. You can see this right here, which allows us to actually connect all of these graphics card cables to the video cards and run that through this power supply while leaving your other power supply to handle the motherboard, riser cards, maybe a hard drive or whatever else you need to power on besides your video cards. So let's check out what we got. In order to make this a little better sounding, since we were using a phone to take this video, I'm going to just play the video and talk to you about what we're looking at. Again, this is that HP power supply we looked at, which is a gold 750 watt power supply. You can get these in 1,000 watt, 1,200 watt, and I believe there's even a 1,400 watt, and I know there's a 1,600 watt, maybe a little bit more rare. But I chose the 750 because we had it, and I'm actually going to pick the 750 in the long run as well. So I'm just going to hit pause real quick so that I can talk about that. So in looking at a mining rig and the opportunity to maybe get a big enough power supply to run everything on the mining rig, let's say a 1,600 watt power supply, and let's say you buy like an EVGA or one of those that are, platinum rated. The good thing is you're using one power supply, so it's easy. The bad thing is you're using one power supply, so if it fails, your rig is down 100%. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting two of these 750s, which is going to also bring the cost down over buying one of these bigger 1,600 watt power supplies. And it brings it down by more than half. And in mining, you got to pretty much save everything you can along the way because, any day now that profitability is going to go in reverse. So by using two 750s, not only do you have a cost savings initially for your return on investment, but on top of that, if one of those 750s goes bad and you lose half your video cards, you're still mining with the other half. And so that's the benefit of, thinking about using the 750. Now we're going to take a quick look at this. This is a 5 video card rig. You can see we're using 847 watts. And basically, after watching it for a few weeks, it's been running about 845 as an average. So that's the number we'll stick with. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace from this rig the existing bronze-rated PSU, which is an EVGA power supply we had laying around. And on the other side, we're going to leave the existing power supply, which is a PC power and cooling, which was actually bought by Corsair. So this is the same power supply as the Corsair power supplies they're using today. I believe that one might also be bronze. So we're probably losing a little bit of energy on that one, and we'll look at replacing it at some point. So at that time, we kind of shut the video down, and we swapped out the hardware. So let's play the after video, and we'll go through it. So you can see, same mining rig. Our baseline is done. We know we have that 845 watts as the average that we were getting. And there's the HP power supply. The breakout card there, which has all those 8-pin cables going to the video cards. And let's check out the breakout board. And there's two features the breakout board has, besides, of course, what it does, is the power light on the front, which is not anything too great, but gives you an indication if you're maybe on that side of it. Of course, there is a power light on the back. And then over here, not too great in this video, right here is a small slider switch. And that slider switch is just to power it on and off. Now, because of the fact that it's pretty close to all those little exposed wires, I wouldn't want to be touching in that area to slide it with my finger. So I left that on, and I allow the switch that I'm using for the entire rig to turn on both power supplies. That way I don't have to deal with it and have some accident that'll zap me. So as you can see, we're running the motherboard riser cards from the actual other power supply, and then we're running just the video cards on this HP power supply. And so we should get a pretty good difference in power savings, mainly because we were using that bronze power supply versus the gold power supply. And let's take a quick look at what that number is. And as you can see, 800, 804, and it was, dropping a couple of numbers below that 800 and very few, maybe 802, 804 above 800. I would say the best we saw was 790, but as an average, I'm going to stick with 800 as the number. And with that number, that's a 45 watt savings. Now, depending on what you pay for power, 45 watts can be a pretty good number. In my case, based on my power costs, that 45 watts is about $4 a month savings. And you figure if you take that over the course of a year, you're probably saving about $50. And if you take it over the course of 2 years, just under $100. So it's definitely worth it. But now the question is, if I don't have a power supply already and I'm building my mining rig from the beginning, then absolutely get one of these power supplies, because they're going to save you money as far as at the cost of the power supply. And then on top of that, they're going to save you money in the long term because you're going to be saving on electricity. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, we don't want to put too much into a rig, because you're trying to keep your costs as low as possible so your return on investment is worth it. So in my case, I had that power supply that you saw, which was the bronze one that we replaced. And I even had the other PC cooling one already just sitting, here in the office. So I didn't spend money on those and then decide to swap them out. So that goes back to return on investment. Keep your numbers low and try to stay ahead of the profit margin. That way it's definitely more profitable. But if you've got equipment, then it's a toss-up whether you need to buy one of these devices or not. I think I would look at it like, if I need to reduce power consumption because I've only got so much at the electrical panel and everything I can save means I can add another video card, then that's one reason you might want to go ahead and invest in it even though you've got equipment. And the other reason is that maybe you pay penalties for when you're going over certain power usages. I know that in peak times, our power company will charge a surcharge on top of the rate for electricity when you use power. So everything you can save during that window when they would surcharge definitely is going to help in the long run. So the last thing I want to review is, we talked about that it's worth buying the power supply if you don't have a power supply and you're building a new mining rig, or maybe you're just building a second mining rig and you're going to get this, from the beginning. And from a cost perspective, I did mention you save some money at the beginning. In other words, when you first buy it. And I didn't talk about those numbers. So as an example, let's say you were trying to buy let's call it a 1200 watt power supply. And you were looking at Corsair, EVGA, the other popular brands. You're looking anywhere between $250 to $350 for that power supply. Whereas if you're looking at these HP power supplies, buying a used one, I would not recommend buying a refurbished one. I would buy a used one on eBay. Will cost you anywhere from $25 to $55, $60 for a platinum model. You could probably get the gold one for a little bit less than half. And as I mentioned, I would be buying 2 of the 750s. So let's say that the 750 Platinum costs, $30, $40, then you would have a total cost of, $60 or $70. That's a huge savings over that $300 power supply. And of course, you do have to buy the breakout boards, and those breakout boards can run you anywhere from $6 to, let's call it $30, depending on if you buy it with the cables or not. And also if you buy it from the US or, whatever country you're in versus, let's say, a China, Hong Kong, those types of places. Now, it takes some time to get to you if you're going to order from China. So sometimes it's worth the extra money to get it a little bit earlier if you want to be impatient about it. I want to say the one I ordered took literally about 20 days to get here. I did order from overseas. And, the good thing is they're all the same because they're manufactured by probably one or two different people, and then everybody, sells the same item, just like riser cards. So yeah, that's something to take into consideration is, what my initial cost is of that $300 for the big quality brand name, modern power supply, or by getting one of these used HP server power supplies and getting a breakout card to make them work with your rig. So my opinion is thumbs up. I would definitely recommend it. This is the route I'm going to take by getting those two 750s and sharing the load. That way I have redundancy and I'm able to then, save some money up front. Hopefully making mining more profitable, which is what it's all about. Trying to earn some more crypto and save that crypto and hope that the numbers jump up. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, I'm going to go ahead and do another video to follow up on this one with a platinum rated one that I ordered earlier today. And we'll see how much more power we can save with the platinum version. At least we'll document it. We know we'll save more, we just don't know how much. And if you think there's somebody that would like this video, please share it with them and hit that subscribe button again so that you can find out about other videos that we've done, both on some cryptocurrencies and mainly mining both cloud and desktop. Thanks again for listening to the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.